None of us can go back. All we can do is our best.
Keep pounding, you can't see us, you can't read us, all we do is keep.
Hello, welcome everyone. We're going to take a quick look at the Panthers 2023 undrafted free agent signings and the 4 potential key pickups that I think could be the backups or add key depth to this roster. Starting with safety from Kent State, Nicole Boulder. Now this is the individual that I came across when I was looking at the tape, looking at the information on him. I really like this kid. He seems like he has a knack for the ball. He had 103 tackles in 2023. I feel like he could play downhill close to the line, somewhat similar to Jeremy Chin. He doesn't seem to be the best in coverage, but he could provide some assistance at the line to help with the run coverage. So someone that could step in and fill in for Jeremy Chin if he ever needs to take a break or, God forbid, he gets injured. Let's take a look here at his stats here. He is 6'3", 213 pounds. Again, he had 103 tackles in 2022. He ran a 4.44 in the 40-yard. He is a hard hitter, and from what I've seen, he likes to play with a chip on his shoulders. And I would like to compare him to a Jeremy Chin if I had to pick one player to compare him to. Up next, what I think could potentially be the hidden gem within this undrafted free agency class. He has that moxie, that attitude, that swag that you like to see from players. It means they like to compete. And this is Rajon Wright, quarterback, Oregon State. You can see in the video number 2 here. And you can go check out these highlight films for yourself if you want to get a closer and more in-depth look at what's going on with this player here. As you can see, he has a knack for the ball. He hits hard for a corner that's big. That's a big thing. A lot of corners like to shy away from the tackle. They like to go for them ankle tackles or the lower body tackles. He likes to get in there and try to mix it up. He is good in coverage. He does struggle a little bit with the press, but he is good off coverage. I think he would be a good addition for Eric Rivero's defense he's going to put in place. He does like to play a lot of cover 4. I think Wright could be a good addition to step in for someone like C.J. Henderson or one of those other Thomas Staley. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But yeah, given the injuries that we had last year at the cornerback position, this is a great addition. I think somebody that could have easily went in the 3rd or 4th round. There was some questions about some previous injuries. I think that's what caused him to drop down. I couldn't tell you. I mean, watching this kid's tape, I'm not exactly sure. A lot of it probably has to do that with the school size and the lack of attention that he got. But I think this is going to be a great addition to the Panthers, and I hope he comes in and he brings that swag working with J.C. Horn. And we also brought in that Jamie Robinson. He seems to play with that same kind of aggression, that chip. So we could be in for a very good secondary if all these pieces come together. Now let's take a look at. Yeah, he was listed as a top 75 player by many scouts. He ran a 4.35 at Pro Day, so blazing fast. He is 6'2", 293 pounds. So he is tall compared to most cornerbacks, which is something we would like to see, especially with that speed. Again, great off-ball coverage. He does struggle with the press. He has a better version of his brother, Rajon Wright, who was drafted to the Cowboys. My NFL comparison, well, this is actually the NFL comparison that they had listed on NFL.com, is P.J. Williams. Me personally, I feel like he could be a Patrick Surtain type player if he develops. But as of right now, we're just going to stick with P.J. Williams. Next up, Jalen Redmond, defensive end / defensive tackle, Sooners. Now this is a player that he was listed as a potential 5th round draft pick. Again, this could be another steal for the Carolina Panthers and adding somebody that can rotate. But the only issue that I have here is it's starting to become a crowded room in the D-line. We added some additional defensive tackles in the offseason with Deshaun Williams and Shy Tuttle. Of course, you have Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Barno. We just added the DJ Johnson. So it's going to be a crowded room. So out of these 4, I think he's going to have probably the toughest time making the roster. But I do see potential. I definitely see potential with him coming in. He does have a size to speed advantage. He ran a 4.81 in the 40-yard dash. He has a very strong bull rush. He is a freak athlete. He scored an 89 athleticism at his size and position. He is a bit undersized to play at defensive tackle, even defensive end, some would say. But my best comparison, looking at NFL players from both past and present, is I would like to compare him to a Charles Johnson. If he can, that's a ceiling. If he can hit his ceiling, I would say he's a Charles Johnson type player. Next we have Leota, Auburn, number 55. This is an outside edge player, so someone that can come in and play that 3-4 defense that Eric Rivero is going to be putting in place. So someone that can come in and rotate with Brian Burns, with Barno, and DJ Johnson, who we just drafted. Now, the previous player that I was just going over, Jalen Redmond, I think he's going to be more of a 3-4 defensive end. That means he's going to play with his hand in dirt at the line. Whereas this guy here is going to be playing more of the outside linebacker, edge rusher. So he's going to be off the ground, stand up, pin your ears back, and go get the quarterback kind of player. And I definitely think he has potential to do that. He did great at it when he was at Auburn. As you can see in some of the highlight films you're already seeing on the screen here. Let's see, go ahead, switch here. Again, I think he has a high ceiling. He has a great motor. He was listed as a potential 5th round grade. He had the highest grade out of all the players listed. Let's see, I'm even higher than Rajon Johnson, who was listed as a top 75 player. But this was such a deep draft for edge players. That's what put him as a 5th round grade. So he is able to develop into a starter, given the right coaching, which he's definitely going to get that with Eric Rivero. He is a great rotational piece, someone to come in and fill in for someone like Burns or Barno and give him a chance to catch his breath. He did have 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks in 2022 in college, but I really believe that he's going to have a better NFL career than he did in college, given the right opportunity and the right coaching. So I think that all in all, to conclude, I think we hit a lot of potential here. In general, there's a lot of potential. All 4 of these players, I believe, can step in immediately and make the 53-man roster. Not practice squad, 53-man roster. Now, there's other undrafted free agents we signed I do expect would probably make the practice squad. But I will make a video on them on a later date. But for right now, we're just going to stick with these 4 because I feel like they have the high ceiling. I feel like some of these players, Wright, Boulder, and even Leota, could potentially step in, and you could see them taking important roles, playing significant time throughout the season if they develop. Now, we won't really know until training camp, and of course preseason comes to get a good look at how they fit in our system. But I have really high hopes for those 3. Now, Redmond, I feel like he could jump up and have a significant role and play significant snaps as well. I just think it's going to be a bit harder for him with the amount of talent that we've brought into that locker room at the defensive tackle and the 3-4 defensive end standpoint. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I do think he has potential. That's going to wrap it up for now. I will be putting out videos later about any other potential free agents that we do sign. I heard that there's a chance that we might might be bringing in another defensive end from free agency. I'm not going to name names or be any kind of spoiler here, but it's going to be a big one. So stay tuned. I'll put a video out if it happens.
Keep pounding, you can't see us, you can't read us, all we do is keep pounding.